overturned. The man found guilty in the 1979 killing of 6-year-old Aton Pates, granted a new trial. The 10 o'clock news starts right now. And we begin tonight with that bombshell news. A new trial for the man convicted of killing Aton Pates. Good evening, I'm Natasha Verma. Steve has the night off. A federal appeals court overturning the verdict and ordering a new trial. Fox 8's Arthur Sheehan is live in Soho, where Pates vanished on his way to a school bus stop back in 1979. Arthur?
Natasha, this was supposed to be a simple walk. Aton lived just 2 blocks down Prince Street in this direction. He was supposed to come right here to catch a school bus and never made it. One can only imagine the agony this reignites for Aton Pates' family, who after decades thought this case was finally closed, only to today find that it is wide open again.
Aton Pates was 6 years old when he left home on Prince Street in Soho on the morning of May 25th, 1979, heading to school alone for the first time. But what was meant to be an act of independence became one of the most haunting missing child cases in our city's history. He never made it on the school bus, and the search for Aton was covered by some of the most historic newscasters in Fox 5 history.
A search centered in Lower Manhattan for a 6-year-old boy who disappeared yesterday.
The young boy's sudden disappearance is still a mystery.
A hope that decades later succumbed to disbelief. Intense searches followed. Aton's face was one of the first missing child cases to be plastered on milk cartons, but neither he nor his body were ever found. In 2012, authorities arrested Pedro Hernandez. In 1979, he worked at a convenience store near Aton's home. Prosecutors say he confessed to killing Aton, but it was soon clear Hernandez had a history of mental illness, including obsessive thoughts and hallucinations. His defense argued Hernandez could not be convicted on the memories of his compromised mind. The first trial ended in a deadlock. In the second trial, after 9 days of deliberations, Hernandez was convicted. On Monday, that conviction was overturned, the appeals court ordering a new trial, an outcome Hernandez's lawyer, Harvey Fishbein, predicted in 2017.
I hate to say it, but we're confident we'll be back here someday.
The same day as a guilty verdict, Aton's father also spoke. The then prosecutor walking beside him, Karen Agnifilo. Agnifilo today represents, amongst others, Luigi Mangione.
I'm really grateful that this jury finally came back with what I have known for a long time, that this man, Pedro Hernandez, is guilty of doing something really terrible so many years ago.
In the 1980s, the feds identified a different man as the primary suspect in Aton's disappearance, Jose Antonio Ramos, a convicted pedophile who was dating Aton's babysitter. While in prison in 1991, his cellmate said he confessed to killing Aton, but Ramos was never prosecuted.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg will now decide where to go from here. That trial was prosecuted under his predecessor, Cy Vance. Meanwhile, the court order does state that if it takes too long to schedule a retrial, that Pedro Hernandez should be released. We're live in Soho tonight. Arthur Chien, Fox 5 News.
All right, Arthur, thank you so much. And developing in Harlem, a 30-year-old man shot in the leg just before 6:30 tonight. This happened at 115th Street and Lenox Avenue. Police tell us they pursued suspects on a city bike and a scooter. The city bike suspect is still on the run. The rider of the scooter has been taken into custody. A gun was recovered at the scene. The victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. And shocking news rocking the entertainment world. Malcolm Jamal Warner has died. The actor, a constant on our screens ever since his big break on The Cosby Show, losing his life after drowning on a family trip in Costa Rica. Fox 8's Meredith Gorman is here with a look back at the life and legacy of the New Jersey native. Meredith.
Natasha, according to Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Department, a current pulled Malcolm Jamal Warner deeper into the ocean while he was swimming. He was rescued by bystanders on the beach before being pronounced dead.
Warner is best known for his iconic role as Theo Huxtable, the only son on The Cosby Show. He was just 14 years old when the series premiered. His performance quickly made an impression, earning him an Emmy nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role. He was born in Jersey City and discovered his passion for acting at a young age. He later graduated from the Professional Children's School here in New York, a program designed to support young performers. After his successful tenure on The Cosby Show,
Warner continued building a career in television and film. Still, for many, Warner will always be remembered as Theo, the charming, down-to-earth teenager who felt like the boy next door who gave viewers the sense that he wasn't just playing a role, he was just being himself.
There was a time, clearly, that has changed now, but there was a time where Cosby was referred to as America's dad, and this fan said to me that Theo was like everyone's first crush because he was so genuine, that character was so genuine and vulnerable at times and showed emotion. Malcolm Jamal Warner in real life was every bit that same person.
Well, we can table that part of the discussion for later.
In recent years, he also starred on Fox's medical drama The Resident, originally cast for a 3-episode arc. By the end of season 1, he became a series regular as A.J. Austin, aka The Raptor. It was one of the many shows he directed episodes of. Malcolm Jamal Warner was on Fox 5 many times over the years, including this past April when he joined Good Day New York to discuss his role on the new Fox show, Alert Missing Persons Unit. Warner also pursued his passion for music. He was a bass player and his jazz funk band performed in major jazz festivals. He also won 2 Grammys. Malcolm Jamal Warner is survived by his wife and daughter. His representatives have declined immediate comment on his death. Natasha?
Yeah, so incredibly sad. All right, Meredith, thank you so much. On Staten Island, Sky Fox over the scene after authorities rescued a 1-year-old girl who was found in a trash chute. The NYPD says a 39-year-old man who sources say was the child's uncle was taken into custody for allegedly putting the child there. Happened on Steuben Street in the Park Hill neighborhood. The little girl was taken to the hospital in stable condition. And 2 women have been arrested and charged in connection to a deadly crash in Chinatown. 23-year-old Autumn Donna Asensio Romero is accused of hitting and killing 2 people with a sedan. She's charged with 2 counts of murder and manslaughter. Her passenger, 22-year-old Kennedy LeCraft, was arraigned on separate charges, including weapons possession. She is being held on a $150,000 bail. An off-duty Border Patrol officer is recovering in a Harlem hospital tonight after getting shot at a park in Upper Manhattan. This comes as new footage released by the Department of Homeland Security shows the 2 suspects after the shooting. You can see the man there in red literally dumping the wounded man in white, who authorities say is the main shooter at the hospital. Fox 5's Lisa Evers is in Harlem with the very latest.
The surveillance video we obtained from Homeland Security shows the scene from Saturday night. It's in a park underneath the George Washington Bridge in Upper Manhattan. You see a moped moving toward a man in a white shirt. Officials say 2 suspects on the moped approach and try to rob the 42-year-old off-duty CBP officer who was sitting on a bench with a woman. Gunfire is exchanged and the officer was shot in his face and arm, allegedly by 2 illegal migrants from the Dominican Republic, both career criminals.
There's absolutely zero reason that someone who is scum of the earth like this should be running loose on the streets of New York City. He was arrested 4 different times in New York City, and because of the mayor's policies and sanctuary city policies, was released back to do harm.
Secretary Noem announced the arrest of the 2 alleged shooters, 21-year-old Miguel Mora, who did not let a federal deportation order stop him from assaults, robberies, and stabbings, and Christian Ibar Baroa, also with an extensive rap sheet. Mayor Adams once again finds himself torn between city and state laws and the much tougher federal laws.
I am extremely angry that we have a Customs Border Patrol officer that is in the hospital because a person that should have not been on our street was on our street, and I've said this over and over again.
A co-worker of the wounded CBP officer, Fabian Winfield, says he came to Harlem Hospital to offer support and prayers for his friend, but was not able to see him because of his condition. He made clear he was off duty and speaking as a friend.
It's very scary, and I would like to say to everyone listening, that prayers, a lot of prayers need to go in with our brother today.
Mayor Adams says the city, specifically the NYPD, will continue to pursue and arrest criminals regardless of their immigration status, but that when it comes to enforcing immigration rules and laws, he'll leave that to Homeland Security. And clearly they're not satisfied with the status quo. In Harlem, I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
Former Police Commissioner Thomas Donlin is suing Mayor Adams for defamation. The $10 million suit claims the mayor suggested Donlin was mentally unfit to serve as top cop. The filing comes less than a week after he sued Adams and his top deputies, accusing them of operating the police department as a criminal racket. Donnelly claimed that he was pushed out after trying to clean up corruption. A spokesman for Mayor Adams dismissed the latest suit, calling it frivolous. Well, reaching crisis proportions. For the first time in its history, the city's largest shelter says it's at full capacity and they can't take in any more animals. Plus, we're back out in New Jersey community exactly 1 week after it got slammed by a second round of deadly flash flooding. And Nick is here talking about the forecast. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Natasha. Unfortunately, we won't see anything like that for a while. In fact, what a nice day it's been, and what a comfortable night we have coming up into tomorrow. There's a heat wave on the way. I'll tell you about it when the 10 o'clock news returns.
For the first time ever, animal care centers of New York City suspending intake because of critical overcrowding. Fox 8's Haley Fixler breaks down the crisis and how you can help.
There are rows and rows of kennels at the Manhattan ACC. Inside, there's an animal wearing a similar, dejected-looking expression. More than 1,000 animals are now at the ACC, a first in their 30-year history.
It's too many, and we've run out of room.
ACC leaders put out this crisis alert, letting people know they are completely out of space. Staff is now suspending animal drop-offs, except in emergency circumstances or if they're taken in by government agencies. About 1/3 of owner surrenders are because of housing insecurity. So staff is really working to discourage anyone they can from giving up their pets.
We provide a lot of resources to pet owners that are struggling. We have a pet food pantry, we have medical expertise, we have behavior resources, so that's kind of also why we want people to call us first. We understand that people have emergencies, and then, this is the last resort.
Their call for help reached Stephen McCasland.
It just kind of tugged at my heartstrings, and I was thinking about my dog that died, and I said, you know what, maybe this is a sign that I should go and see if I can find one to bring home.
He was bonding with Scooby-Doo when we met up with him at the shelter.
They said they found him tied to a fence.
While adoptions are the best way to help, the shelter staff depends heavily on people in its foster care network, like Lillian Rodich.
That's making a slot and a spot there for another animal that really needs to be in the shelter environment.
She runs this Instagram page featuring the cats she fosters to help raise awareness.
It's all about making space for them, and any little space is still better than the streets or a small kennel.
The ACC is overwhelmed.
The staff are doing a great job, the best they can in this situation, but it's really sad to see.
But by sounding the alarm, they're hoping to get these animals into homes soon. In Manhattan, Haley Fixler, Fox 5 News.
And if you want to foster with the ACC, virtual orientations are available. There are also adoption events every weekend, and we have that information on our website. Well, House Speaker Mike Johnson says that he has no plans to bring a vote to release the Jeffrey Epstein files to the House floor before Congress breaks for summer recess next month. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisles are calling for the Department of Justice to release the files. President Trump is trying to appease critics. He's ordered the DOJ to ask a federal judge to unseal grand jury transcripts that led to the accused child sex traffickers' arrest. And new tonight, the former Kentucky police officer who used excessive force during the Breonna Taylor raid in 2020 is heading to prison. Brett Hankinson has been sentenced to just under 3 years behind bars and 3 years of probation. Last week, the DOJ asked a judge to sentence him to just 1 day in jail, followed by probation. Hankinson had fired 10 shots during the botched drug raid, but didn't hit anyone. Taylor was shot and killed in her hallway by 2 other officers. Her killing, along with the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, sparked massive racial injustice protests that year. A Central Park horse carriage driver has been found not guilty of animal cruelty charges. Prosecutors claimed Ian McKeever relentlessly kept driving his horse during a hot August day back in 2022. The 26-year-old horse named Ryder collapsed in the street. Ryder was eventually taken to an animal sanctuary and euthanized, a jury reaching a verdict clearing McKeever of abuse.
This has been a terrible 3 years for me. Everybody was looking at me like I was an abuser of a horse, and it just killed me because I love horses.
Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg vowed to continue to investigate and prosecute future alleged animal abuse cases. And the search is on for whoever vandalized AOC's campaign office in the Bronx overnight. Someone splattered red paint on the Congresswoman's office door and hung an anti-Israel sign that reads, AOC funds genocide in Gaza. The Congresswoman was slated to speak at an event today, but canceled her appearance, her office calling the press conference a security risk. The Trump administration releasing records of the FBI's surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr. The records have been sealed since 1977. The release follows an executive order signed by the president back in January. In a statement, the King family said that it supports transparency and historical accountability, but objects to any attacks on King's legacy or attempts to weaponize it to spread falsehoods. The family says that they were given advance notice and that their own teams reviewed the records before they were released to the public. Mayor Adams and NYPD Commissioner Tisch say the city's effort to stop subway surfing is proving successful. They say that drone patrols have apprehended 200 people. The NYPD sends out drones and field response teams to subway lines with the highest rates of subway surfing complaints.
Subway surfing is not a trend, it's not a rite of passage, and it's certainly not viral entertainment. It's a deadly risk, taken mostly by kids, often in groups, fueled by social media, amplified by peer pressure, and sustained by a false and naive sense of invincibility.
So these drones provide live aerial surveillance that help officers intervene before it becomes deadly. Once a subway surfer is spotted, officers can alert the next station to stop the train and safely remove the individual. The FAA is investigating after a passenger jet nearly collided with a B-52 bomber. One passenger recorded the pilot's announcement after the emergency last week.
Long story short, it was not fun, but I do apologize for it, and thank you for understanding.
The SkyWest flight was headed towards Minot International Airport in North Dakota last Friday when it almost collided with the military plane from a nearby Air Force base. The pilot told the passengers he made an aggressive maneuver to avoid disaster. The flight thankfully landed safely. All right, time to check the forecast as we take a live look outside. We're enjoying a really nice break from the oppressive heat and humidity, but how long is it going to last? Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Nick Gregory for that answer. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Natasha. Looks like another winter coming up for tomorrow, so be prepared to plan for that. It's pretty nice out now. It's still a little on the warmer side, like Newark at 79, and we're 77 in Midtown, even upper 70s to Islip. But we do have 60s to the northwest, and those areas there will be in the 50s overnight. Again, dew point temperatures are nice and low in the lower 50s to upper 40s, so that's awfully comfortable. Again, the wind's pretty light, mostly a north wind. Satellite view shows not much going on, right? That's kind of a good view here. We're not talking about much really happening. All the action is off to the south and west. There are thunderstorms, Tennessee down to Georgia, and some more brewing in the middle part of the country. That's the leading edge of what will be hot and humid air returning here, and that's going to happen after Wednesday, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday time frame. That'll be our next heat wave around here, particularly Friday. Could be a really hot, oppressive day. Tonight, just a few clouds. Tomorrow, sunshine and a few clouds. Again, very comfortable. Humidity not so bad. Temperature in the lower 80s. Does start warming up a bit on Wednesday as the wind becomes more southerly to southwesterly. And like I said, then the heat will build and arrives here at the end of the week. Overnight, no, look at these temperatures. 50s, Poughkeepsie, even 51 Monticello, mid-upper 60s around town, about 70 at the Jersey Shore, low 60s into Connecticut. For tomorrow, nice day, comfortably warm. Gotta love this, right? Lower 80s, 70s, upper 70s north and west and along the coast as well. And again, in the next 3 days, we're talking temperatures starting to rise. Wednesday up to 86, and Thursday, here we go, 91. That will be the start of our heat wave. It also starts to get much more humid at that point as well. Natasha?
All right, Nick, thank you. An emergency meeting after deadly flooding slams a New Jersey community for the second time in a month. The effort's underway to get millions released to fix public buildings damaged in that flash flooding. And the family of the man killed after getting sucked into an MRI machine is speaking out what they're saying about this shocking tragedy. New details emerging in the incident involving a man losing his life after getting sucked into an MRI machine on Long Island. Fox Eye's Jody Goldberg is in Westbury with what his family is saying tonight.
A cry for help on GoFundMe after a woman says it was her husband, Keith McAllister, who was sucked into an MRI machine last week at Nassau Open MRI as he tried to help her off the table. According to the fundraising page, the technician, quote, forgot to inform him to take the chain he was wearing from around his neck off when the magnet sucked him in. The family now saying the 61-year-old suffered several heart attacks and died following the tragic accident. We reached out to them for an interview and haven't heard back. The Nassau County Police Department tells Fox 5 McAllister walked in against the technician's discretion. But in an interview with News 12 Long Island, his wife says the technician allowed him in the room despite the fact that he was wearing a 20-pound chain that she says he used for weight training.
I yelled out Keith's name, Keith, come help me up, come help me up. In that instant, the machine switched him around, pulled him in, and he hit the MRI.
We reached out to Nassau Open MRI when it first happened, and then again today, and we're being told no comment.
It really is going to be a case of negligence against the MRI facility, and the plaintiff's going to have to prove that negligence at trial.
Trial attorney Imran Ansari said the family has a potential case.
It really comes down to whether that family member was allowed to go into the facility and whether it was foreseeable that if he had gone in there, that a tragedy, an accident like this would have occurred.
Fundraising is now underway for McAllister's funeral. He's being remembered as a husband and father, along with a friend to many. In Westbury, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
He's the biggest name in golf right now, but many fans say you wouldn't know it from the energy that he's bringing. Why some say his low-key personality could actually be hurting the game. Plus this.
On your mark, get set, book your table. I'm Meredith Gorman in Midtown, breaking down the restaurant week deals. Next on the 10 o'clock news.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
It's hard to believe, but 1 week ago, this was the scene in Plainfield, New Jersey, as deadly floodwaters raged through the community. The second time in a matter of just weeks. And tonight, the city of Plainfield is holding an emergency meeting to get money released just to begin the repair and reconstruction process. Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino has more.
So normally, it's just this little strip.
Yeah.
And how quickly did it become a river? What are we talking about?
Well, once it opened up, it came down, man. It was just that fast. If you look at over there, about 3/4 width, the water was all the way up to the steps over there. Up to the apartment. It was a river.
A river?
It was a straight up river.
The cost of repairs is more than many people and the city can immediately cover.
I've never expected, FEMA. If it comes, it comes.
Plainfield City Council members share Kiana Walters' view. That's why on Monday night, in a virtual emergency meeting, they passed a special $5 million appropriation to pay for the damage caused by the July 3rd windstorm. The city's hoping to get FEMA money for the July 14th flood.
If it doesn't hit the threshold, then our contingency plan is to borrow against future budgets to cover.
This is the contingency plan, basically, is this money.
That money is going to be applied against city budgets over the next 5 years. The July 3rd storm caused widespread damage in Plainfield. Strong winds knocked down trees and power lines, and 3 people died when trees fell on their cars. More than 80 trees were uprooted. Then a little more than a week later, the flood on July 14th. In Plainfield, water from Stony Brook rose quickly, collapsing parts of Somerset Street and inundating homes and businesses. Inside this doctor's office, you can still see how high the water rose. We're talking about 2 feet in a matter of 2 hours. There were still patients and doctors inside. They all managed to escape through this window. You can see the broken glass. The hope is that the state's total damage from that storm tops $18 million, which would qualify New Jersey for federal aid. But if it doesn't,
we got our own 2 hands, our own 2 feet as well. And if you lead by example, this is how I feel. You get out there, you got your neighbor right here, let's do it together.
In Plainfield, Duarte Geraldino, Fox 5 News.
Well, Brooklyn man has been charged with arson. 21-year-old Jackie McRae is accused of setting nearly a dozen NYPD vehicles on fire last month in Bushwick. The vehicles were in a locked parking lot when investigators say McRae scaled a fence at the secure facility on DeKalb Avenue. More than 24 fire starters were also found at the scene. The total damage topping $800,000. McRae faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The father of a 9-year-old girl who he reported missing has been charged with her murder. Police say Luciano Fratellini claimed that someone abducted his daughter from a parking lot in Lake George, New York. The girl's body was discovered on Sunday in a pond 30 miles away. Investigators say he allegedly killed his child sometime after they were both seen together on surveillance video.
The child appeared to be in good health and did not indicate she was under any duress. The investigation has determined sometime after Molina's phone call with her mother and before Mr. Frattolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Molina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement.
Fratolin is from Canada. He was on vacation in the U.S. with his daughter. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf today. Harvard University in federal court today for a pivotal case in its battle with the Trump administration. Harvard is making the case that the administration illegally cut $2.6 billion from the school research budget. A lawyer for the government argues the Trump administration has the authority to cancel research grants when an institution is out of compliance with the president's directives. If the judge decides in the university's favor, the ruling would reverse a series of funding freezes. Final plans are in place for this year's Dominican Day Parade. Organizers gathered in Washington Heights today to announce details about next month's event. The parade will be held on Sunday, August 10th along 6th Avenue. The annual event celebrates Dominican culture with a mix of floats, musical performances, and dignitaries. This year's theme is United in Culture and Tradition. All right, let's talk about the city's great food scene. And if there's a restaurant you've always wanted to try, but you've been scared of the prices on the menu, you're in luck. Fox Eye's Meredith Gorman has a preview of this week's Restaurant Week.
It's New York City Restaurant Week. Monday is the start of the popular discount dining event, which includes restaurants from across all 5 boroughs and goes until August 17th.
It's all about really giving New Yorkers and obviously visitors as well an opportunity to experience some of New York City's dining scene at a really great price point.
More than 600 restaurants around the city are participating for the summer, offering $30, $45, or $60 prefix menus with taxes and tip not included. Saturdays are excluded from the program, but diners can make reservations online at nyctourism.com/restaurant week. And restaurants are looking forward to serving up dishes for their hungry customers. There's so much variety, from a taste of Cuba at Havana Central to Japanese cuisine at Raw Sushi.
It'll be pretty much a great sample of our regular menu, and we have different variances for both our lunch and dinner menu, and both are greatly accessible. You can compare to our regular menu. It's a great sample, and it would not disappoint at all.
A variety of things. For $45 a person, you get a choice of a sushi roll, you get an entree option, you get a dessert option, and you get a shareable.
And while you're having an amazing meal, it's only right to mix in a cocktail. Meredith Gorman, Fox 5 News. Delicious.
All right, and now that we know where we can save on the menu, are you ready to splurge? Welcome back. It's martini time, but this drink you're about to see is definitely more of a splurge, to the tune of $8,000. Of course, it's in the Hamptons. Fox Eye's Jessica Formoso takes us to Sag Harbor for the 4-figure sip.
It's the most lavish sip of the summer. This oversized martini drink goes for $8,000. That's right, $8,000.
Would you drink it? It's $8,000. You get the necklace.
It's no laughing matter. You can sip on your dirty martini in the Hamptons at Dopo La Spiaggia.
People laugh, people think it's great, people think it's crazy.
It's on the menu as the Rocks on Rocks, and it's called that because it comes with more than an olive garnish. Dripping from the olives, sparkling diamonds, a 5-carat diamond tennis necklace.
It's a 5-carat total weight diamond necklace set with prongs in 14-karat white gold, so it's on the higher end as far as necklaces go.
The bling, which you get to keep, is what makes the drink so expensive. Behind the idea, jeweler James Racasano, founder of Jimmy the Rock Diamonds.
My girlfriend and I came up with the idea, and we spitballed a bunch of different things to sell, and we thought the martini would be a nice way to deliver the piece of jewelry.
He says there's been some interest, selling about half a dozen. And you don't have to order a martini for $8,000. You can choose your drink. Heck, if you want a nice coffee in the glass, they will pour you a nice coffee.
Our joke was, if they're spending this much money, they could drink whatever they want.
So yes, the martini and the necklace is $8,000, but here's the twist. $1,000 goes to the charity of your choice.
$1,000 goes towards their charity of their choice, so we're not influencing anything. It's for someone that would like to do something different than just going to a jeweler and buy a necklace.
Would you pay the $8,000 to get the necklace?
Probably not. I mean, it's like a fun idea as a gift, probably, if it comes with that.
Hate it or love it, the liquid luxury is here to stay throughout the summer. In Sag Harbor, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Well, child obesity is a serious concern for parents and doctors, but what if a test could predict obesity risk before a child turns 5? We're going to take a closer look at that new research.
Natasha.
All right, Nick, thank you. The 2026 FIFA World Cup host committee for New York and New Jersey kicking off trading on Wall Street this morning. It comes as the group released an economic impact summary today, revealing that New York and New Jersey are projected to receive $3.3 billion from next year's tournament. More than 1.2 million visitors are expected to travel to MetLife Stadium for 8 matches, including the final. And remember, Fox 5 is your home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Look for updates and features leading up to the big event next summer. There's a big battle brewing on the football field, but it has nothing to do with sports. Why President Trump is reigniting the debate over a team name and turning it back into a political football. A genetic test could one day predict a person's obesity risks before their 5th birthday. Scientists in Denmark analyzed data from more than 5 million people and created a genetic score which could help doctors intervene. The score was nearly twice as accurate than current methods. Experts acknowledge that genetics are just one piece of obesity. Lifestyle still plays a major role. Well, NFL training camps are about to kick into high gear, which could be why President Trump has decided to weigh in on a hot-button topic. President wants to see the Washington Commanders return to its previous name. Rebecca Castor has the details.
Commanders change the name back to Redskins? I wouldn't have changed the name.
That was President Trump earlier this month, saying he's not a fan of Washington's NFL team changing their name to the Commanders back in 2020. On Sunday, he doubled down, posting online the team should immediately go back to using their old name. In a follow-up post, he said he won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington unless they ditch the Commander's name.
I don't think he should have any influence on that.
Leave politics out of this right now. We just play football. What are you worried about it for?
The president also called out the former Cleveland Indians, who changed their name to the Guardians 4 seasons ago. They've been a target of Trump's criticism since the 2024 campaign.
They're in charge of a trust fund, the Cleveland Guardians.
The president claims Native Americans aren't offended by these old names, and one former player agrees.
I'm a Native American, so I'm a real redskin and a proud one. 70 to 90% of Native American Indians, wherever you go, love the name Redskins.
Bringing a stadium back to D.C. is a top priority for Commanders owner Josh Harris. Plans call for it to be built at the site of the team's previous home, RFK Stadium. And as far as the name goes, Harris says the change is fitting.
There's more military personnel than anywhere else, so we're kind of moving forward the Commander's name, excited about that, and not looking back.
Congress transferred RFK Stadium from federal to city control late last year, so it's unclear how much power President Trump actually has over the project. From outside RFK Stadium in Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 5 News.
Well, Microsoft says hackers are exploiting a major flaw in its SharePoint server software. The attacks could give access to files across government and business networks. The vulnerability does not affect Microsoft's cloud-based services, but organizations using local servers are urged to update software or take systems offline. Microsoft says it's working on a fix and has already released security patches for 2 versions of SharePoint. And there's more of the 10 o'clock news straight ahead. We'll be right back. Well, Queens is getting its first ever Children's Museum for Arts and Culture. Local leaders making the announcement today, saying it'll be built thanks to $8.5 million in capital funding from the state. Children's Museum will be in part of Queens Museum in Flushing Meadows Corona Park. Very cool. And don't go anywhere. Good Night New York with Ryan and Crystal is next at 11. That does it for us tonight. If you've missed any part of the 10 o'clock news, you can always catch an encore on our free streaming app, Fox Local. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.